Hafidhahullah wa ra'ah, and to share with you a project that I've been working on for quite a while now. So this is something that's been in my heart for probably the past 2 decades. Um, that when I was in university many ages ago, there was one of my best friends at the University of Central Florida. Um, his name is Harris Tobing, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful human being, mashallah, from a wonderful family, who was part of the film program. So he was getting his bachelor's degree at the University of Central Florida in film, and we were good friends, and we often talked about the need for us to be present in the media arena. Um, a lot of times, when we talk about television or about movies, most people say, "Oh, it's haram," and the reason that it's haram is because of what people are doing with it. But the reality, as we already know, is that television is no different than internet, no different than radio. It's just a medium. And so, just like a person can use their computer for doing quite a great deal of haram, people do it all the time. They commit zina through the computer. They buy illegal things through the computer, and then you have another group of people who are using the same computer, okay, and the same internet to worship Allah and to learn about Islam and to learn how to pray and to learn Quran, how to recite Quran. So it's just a medium, and this is what a lot of times we forget is that this medium of television and movies is something that we're not competitive in as Muslims, and as sadly, what that leads to is that we're allowing someone else to represent us because we're quiet, because we didn't show up. We basically are allowing Hollywood or Netflix or HBO or whatever. They're basically representing us for us. They're telling us, "Oh, this is what Muslims are. Muslims are bad people. They're evil people. Muslims are they're just terrorists. Every single one of them. It doesn't make a difference." When you see the comments that have been coming out about Gaza, I've seen people write on the internet. I'm sure you guys have as well. That 3-year-old children should die. That they should be left to die because they're just going to grow up to be terrorists anyways. Might as well get rid of them now. Okay, what would drive a human being to that level of evil? I try to comprehend that, and a lot of this is the fact that they're seeing this time and time and time again on the television, on the movie screen. Muslims, that's all that they are. They don't have any redeeming qualities whatsoever. And so the only good Muslim is a Muslim that commits zina or that doesn't pray or that wears tight clothes or what have you. That's the only type of a good Muslim that there is. And you guys are probably familiar with this as well as I am, if not better. That these are the good Muslims that are presented, in various Western programs. These are the good ones. Okay, so we have to be present because we are losing our kids. That's the number one problem. And I used to say, believe me, this is actually an old statement. I used to say we're losing our kids, but we're actually losing the adults now as well. Because when I go to the masjid and I talk about what's hot on in the theaters right now or on Netflix or something like that, the adults are just as knowledgeable as the kids are, and that's the level we've gotten to. Um, I remember when I was living in Saudi Arabia. I lived there for 9 years. When I was living there, there was a very famous book called Game of Thrones that was converted into a television series by HBO, and so I had heard about it. It's the book has a lot of you know uh, very good reviews, and so I would say, oh, it sounds interesting, to me. And then when I went online to look at kind of the synopsis and what's being shown, I was like, "A'udhu billah." The whole thing is haram. Everything it talks about. There's incest. There's frank nudity in just about in every 10 minutes. There's cursing, there's killing, there's violence. I said, and so I said, no, 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 a'udhu billah. How could I watch something like this? And then I go to work in Saudi Arabia with a bunch of Muslims, and they're all talking about the latest episode. And I told them, I said, you guys don't mind watching all this haram? They said, yeah, akhi, come on, and the stuff like that. So I said, wow. I said, it even got to the Muslim people in Saudi Arabia. What about the Muslim people living in North America? What is the source of it? And so you all know what I'm talking about. It's, most people are affected or afflicted by this thing, إِلَّا مَا رَحِمَ رَبُّ, except those that Allah has mercy upon, that they were not affected or afflicted by this fitna. So as a result, we have to deal with reality. So I remember, I've talked to different people, and some people say, well, this is an evil industry. Why should we get involved? And as I said, it's just a medium. So yes, the existing industry is evil. That doesn't mean that we have to use it for evil. But a lot of people say, well, why don't we, get the youth involved in the Quran? Why don't we bring them to the masjid to recite Quran? So I tell them, let's be realistic. Okay, you have to meet people where they are. Okay, when you became a Muslim, okay, how did Islam come to you? Okay, how did it reach you? And for the vast majority of people, Islam came to them. They didn't necessarily, they weren't so pure from, they didn't come out of their mothers, pure, and lived a pure, childhood, and then they said, oh, Islam is the right way, I'm going to go to the masjid and take Shehata today. Most of them, they were in some level of sin, in some involvement of sin, and Islam came to them. So we have to meet our children, meet the young people, meet the people who are consuming these things, meet them where they are, and show them, hey, there's alternatives. There's something better that you can use your time with. Something that, inshallah, at the end of it, you will feel good about being a Muslim. You're not going to hate being a Muslim. After you watch this program, you're going to be proud to be a Muslim. You're going to see how a person who is otherwise very busy still makes time to pray. You're going to see how somebody who is very successful still is dressing in a modest fashion. And so these are the role models that exist in the multimedia world. That again, our kids are taking role models like you guys name it. Like when we talked about how many of you guys were present when I gave that talk about your child's trying to be a gangster. Anybody show up for that one?
Some of them.
Yeah, alhamdulillah. So you guys remember that this is, when we're talking about, people like Drake and Tupac and Ice-T and whatever these names are, Ice-T and Coffee Cappuccino, I don't know, these strange names, but our kids know these names, okay? And not only do they know them, but they idolize these evil people. And so we have to do something about it. You can't just tell them, oh, I'm going to take away your MP3 collection of of gangster rap, and here, why don't you listen to some Quran instead? It doesn't work that way. You can't take somebody 180 degrees like that. So you have to take them slowly. And so and that's what we see from the da'wah of Allah Azza wa Jalla in the Quran, that it was a gradual thing. Allah didn't come and tell them alcohol is haram on day one. He told them, he took them slowly, step by step. And that's why the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he sent Mu'adh ibn Jabal, he sent him to Yemen. He told him, you are going to a people of the book. Okay? So the first thing you should talk to them about is what? The hijab. The first thing you should do when you get to Yemen is tell the women to wear hijab. I'm using the chat, unless you guys want to talk.
La ilaha illallah.
So he told them what? He told them that call them to La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah. That's the first thing. Call them to La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah. Let them understand what this is. When they accept that, only when they accept that, then tell them Allah has obligated upon them 5 daily prayers. When they accept that, then you tell them that Allah has mandated upon them a charity which is to be taken from the rich and given to their poor, the zakat. So that's the concept, is that it's step by step by step. So this is the area that again, like that I feel like we have as Muslims, subhanallah, in globally, but more specifically in the Western countries, we are leaders in medicine. MashaAllah, some of the best doctors in the United States, Canada, England, these countries, they are Muslims. Okay, they're leaders in medicine. They're leaders in business. They're leaders in engineering. I even remember, subhanallah, some brothers that they were um, that they I won't tell that story now, it'll take too much time, but in other words, that they are leaders. Okay, that there we have leaders in so many of the sciences. We have leaders in business as well. So you see, every Muslim community has so many very wealthy, successful businessmen, mashallah, that Allah bless them, and they have the skills, they have the know-how. But when it comes to media, we're still living in like 1950, or not even, we're living in like 1910. Okay, for some reason, I don't know why. Okay, we're still stuck on the talking heads, and so everything you see on YouTube is the talking head. And I keep telling the shiuch, and I tell them, please, people, the young people, they can't sit for 10 minutes. Okay, they can't sit and look at somebody talking to them on the screen for 10 minutes, much less an hour. You know, they have to have something. They have to have some eye candy. They have to have something that, we call it B-roll in that industry. You have to see the camera has to change to something else in order to keep the attention of the people. And as a result, that's why you see that the kids are all doing what TikTok and Instagram, all these like very short medias. Okay, so the only thing that holds their attention is these films and so forth, and these television shows that have rapid change of scenery and so forth, and ideas and comedy and so forth that keep them engaged. It's unfortunate that the vast majority of these long lectures, they don't keep even the older people engaged. But this is the content that we have, unfortunately. So you go and you look up Islam on YouTube, for example, or on Instagram or whatnot. There's all this long content, unfortunately. So when we look at the paradigm which is being used by Hollywood, Netflix, and these types of people, they're not preachy. Okay, so if they want to sell you, for example, on that you should be drinking alcohol, or that you should be smoking cigarettes, or that you should be a homosexual, they're not going to come out and just plaster it, on a banner. They're not going to give it to you in a banner. They're going to show it to you in a subtle way. And what's the subtle way that they present this information? They present it through characters. And so what they do is they make you fall in love with somebody, okay, that you love this character, and you really look forward to seeing this character every time that there's an episode or every time there's a movie, because you find this character is so wonderful. They're so funny. They're so, lovable. They're so handsome. They're so whatever, okay? And they do this haram. You fill in the blank, okay? Zina, alcohol, cigarettes, homosexuality, whatever. You fill in the blank, okay? They do that, and then all of a sudden you say, well, it can't be that bad because this person is so wonderful and I love them so much. It can't be that bad, right? And that's the idea. Then we get that. And this is the whole problem when it comes to Islamic, media, is that we haven't picked up on that, even though this is a very ancient technique. This is something Hollywood has been using since the 1950s, which is that you present a story, and inside the story, you put the message that you want. And that's what we're missing. And so the program that we have, FamCinema, so I'm going to share my screen with you guys in just a second here, and try to give you a little bit of a introduction to this project that I've been working on. So this is the home screen of famcinema.com, and so you come in here and you can. I would appreciate it if you join, but just so you can see, you can just enter just to kind of see what's going on. So this is a movie we're going to talk about in a little bit, but there is some cartoons. So this is a nice cartoon. It's only a short cartoon. It's 5 minutes. But those of you that have children, I really wish that you would get this video and show it to your kids. It's only 5 minutes long. Again, animations, they're very, very expensive, but this was kind of a test that we were producing. The story, I'll share the story with you. It's actually a story that is very close to my heart, which is the To put it in a very brief way, so I don't want to give away the movie. But basically, the idea is that not everybody has the the brain power or the time to be able to memorize the Quran. Okay, some people they have sick family members, they have sick parents. Some people are sick themselves. They have illnesses. They're busy. Maybe they're a single provider, for their family, and so they're the only one who has to work. And maybe they have to work two jobs to make ends meet to be able to provide for their family. What have you? Not everybody has the time to sit down. Not everybody has the luxury to sit down and memorize Quran. And so the principle, though, that we learn is that the Quran has a very purifying effect. So even if you don't have the time to memorize, frequently reciting the Quran, okay? This is a lesson that I learned from one of the security guards when I was working in Saudi Arabia. He said, Dr. Ali, when you're walking between patient rooms, try to read an ayah or two, or, just try to remember, keep the Quran frequently on your tongue. And this is, of course, the advice of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that a man once came to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He said, you know, I can't understand all these complicated things that you guys talk about. Tell me something simple that will keep me close to Allah. He said, keep your tongue moist with the remembrance of Allah. So if you're able to always keep the remembrance of Allah on your tongue, it brings you closer, it purifies. And so this is a story that's aimed at children, which again, it presents it in a very, inshallah, subtle manner. Maybe it was a little too subtle. Some people, they were like, it took them a couple of times to watch it to understand it properly. But it's something the kids have enjoyed. And so I tested this on a number of children. So we had about 10 different families as a test market, and all the kids loved it. And the kids were even asking, when is the next episode coming out? I want to see more of this. And so this is just $1. This is to buy the viewing, so you get to watch it for 24 hours for $1. Um, and and so it's not very expensive. These programs here are actually all free. You can watch any of these programs for free. So those of you that have attended to Sheikh Isam, his gorgeous, gorgeous tafsir. This is the first episode of his tafsir course. He's actually creating more episodes right now that we will upload soon. This is another short animation, which it's a bit old. This one's about 10 years old. I made this a long time ago. As I told you, I've had this on my mind for quite a while. This is a beautiful movie, which is $2 right now. It's a 1 hour and it's a 1 hour plus movie, which presents the janaza as a story, and so that you kind of learn about the process of the janaza through a story. So it's very well done, but it is an older movie. And then this last one here is a very short movie. It's only 11 minutes long. This is something my son and I we created together, and because again, I believe in this. I believe we have to be doing more, and it's something that I've even taught my children. And so my son Yusuf, he's very involved in this, and I think you will enjoy this movie a lot. And it's a free movie. You can watch it. There's no you just have to sign in to be able to watch it. But I would love for you guys to be able to see it. Um, Now, coming back to the Green Game, okay, so the Green Game is an actual feature film, and so this is a 90-minute movie that was created um, to compete with anything that Hollywood is producing, anything that you find on Netflix. And so I'm going to show you guys briefly one of the one of the trailers for the movie, just so you can get a concept of the quality that's involved. Um, Sister Lai, you guys can see what the YouTube, right? If
Yes, I
anybody,
can see.
okay, perfect. Okay, so let's play this one. And so
We can't hear, brother.
So I apologize. I think you guys couldn't hear that. I'm not sure why the audio isn't transferring over, but let's get this.
The sister says you because you're using a headset. It's
Ah, okay.
probably why it's not working.
Ah, I see. I'm sorry that this computer is a bit older, and I apologize. I don't have a good sound card in it. So I will invite you guys, inshallah, to go to you can guys can go, inshallah, to the channel. So there is let me get you back to that. So this is the FamCinema channel. So you guys can go just search for FamCinema. There's 5 videos here. So 3 trailers for the Green Game and a couple of little animations about what FamCinema is about. But just to kind of share a couple of stories with you guys. And so the idea behind this movie is just a story. It's just what I hope is an interesting story. Sister Layla has already watched it, and I'll let you guys. I'll let her tell you what her personal thoughts on the movie were. But so far, the movie has had a lot of good reviews. It's currently in an early promotion premiere status, and so it's 20% off right now, and so you can watch it on this platform. Fam Cinema is something you can put on your television if you have a smart television, if you have a Roku TV or a Fire TV or a Google TV or an LG TV. You basically download the Fam Cinema app onto your television. If you have an Android tablet, you can download it onto your Android tablet or onto your Android phone. It's not on Apple just yet, but inshallah it should be coming soon, or you can just watch it on your computer if you'd like. But the concept behind it is to watch it, as a family. And so the idea behind the film really is that we wanted to create a story about the story. The basis of the story is a young man, a young Muslim who goes from America to Turkey. So an American in Fethiye. Fethiye is one of the cities along the coast of Turkey. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous city. If you ever have a chance to visit Turkey, it's a beautiful place to go. One of some of the most beautiful beaches along Turkey are found in that region. And so he goes there to visit, and he gets embroiled in this spy situation. There's different spy agencies that are trying to get some information, and he gets caught up in the middle of all this. And so it's a comedy. It's intended to be funny, and it's intended as a proof of concept to basically show how we can create things like this. That we have the people that can create very professional things. So this was a very low budget movie. So it cost about $50,000 to make, and so $50,000 is a lot of money for sure. But when we compare that to what a Hollywood movie costs, most of these movies, as you guys are aware, are costing $1 million plus. Many are costing over $100 million. And so for us to be able to make this on $50,000 was relatively significantly low budget, but still we were able to produce a very, very good product. And so yes, there are a couple of audio glitches here and there in terms of some areas where the audio isn't as good as what I would have hoped. But again, overall, the project is I think it's pretty successful, and that's the reviews that we've been getting so far. And so basically, what you're watching is you're watching just a film that you would otherwise watch on any other channel or on a cinema, but you're watching Muslim characters. You're watching a person who prays and a person who is encouraging other people to pray, and it's part of the story. It's something subtle. It's something which is underlying, so it doesn't come out as preachy. Now, what was interesting to me, and that's what I wanted to share with you guys in today's program, is some of the stories in making this movie. So when we got there, the crew who filmed the movie are actually all Muslims. All of them are Muslim. Subhanallah. Half of the cast, or not even half, they say even a third of the cast are Muslim. And Probably half. Yeah, half of the cast are Muslim, and the entire crew was Muslim. And yet, none of these people, subhanAllah, one of the scenes, one of the days that we were filming was at a masjid in Turkey. And it really hurt me because we were at a masjid and nobody got up to pray. All these people were Muslim, but nobody got up to pray. Subhanallah. I heard the adhan, I went in to pray, and I found I was by myself. And I came out and I was like, guys, what's going on? And so um, I was talking to one of there was a woman who was part of the crew, part of the production crew, and she is a uh, she was the art director for the movie. And so what happened was is that she I talked to her and I said, you don't want to come inside the masjid. I was encouraging her to wear hijab and to come inside the masjid, and she said, no, 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 no way. And she was like almost like offended that I told her to enter the masjid. And so I took it a step further and I said, why? Why are you so upset? And she said, every bad thing that's happened to me in my life, every bad thing that's happened to me is because of Islam. And she's a Muslim, born and raised. So I was like, subhanAllah. So I kind of held off on that. So at the very end of the production, she came to talk to me again. And she said, I really want to thank you for this experience, for, allowing me to be a part of this group and to be part of this crew. This is something huge. I've never done anything to this level. I've never created a feature film like this. And this is something like was such a good experience for me. So I told her, I asked her to elaborate, and she told me, that how much it's going to help her career, and she made so many good contacts, and she's just overjoyed at this opportunity. And I said, do you realize that it was Islam that brought you to this project? It's the fact that you're a Muslim that you're part of this project, and it like totally blew her away. It just like she never saw that coming, and it really affected her. Like to think that she had this negative idea about Islam because of where she grew up in the country that she grew up in, and to realize that. And then she told me, she said, I have never met, and this isn't, I'm not saying this as a praise for myself because I am the least person among you. I know that. This is a fact. But just to show the dawah impact of this type of work, she said, I've never met a Muslim person like you. She said, you were always so happy and full of smiles, and you made the whole project so easy, and you were so nice to everybody. And, I never saw somebody that prays, because they saw me praying. They saw me like when the adhan would come, I would tell them, I'm going to step out, let's take a break, I'm going to go pray. And I would tell them every time, anybody want to come with me? And they all just kind of look at me, and nobody would ever come. But they wanted to help me. By the end of the movie, they were all bringing me like a prayer mat, and they're all trying to they're trying to serve me, in this regards, because they know it's a good thing. They know that the salah is something good, just the fact that they're not doing it. And so it was really an eye opener for her. And she told me, she said, I'm never going to look at Islam the same way because of this movie. And this is the impact on somebody that was part of the crew. The impact on, if you look at this guy right here, the Jack card here, this guy, he's a British guy. His name is Nick Facey, and he plays George in the movie. So he's not a Muslim, and yet this person, he told me at the end of the movie, he said that that he had such a positive vibe from Islam that he wanted to know more about it. He told me that he could see himself being a Muslim one day. It wasn't something far from him to do that. And I said, subhanallah, like, so here are people, who are like, Islam is reaching them in a very unusual way, through this type of a movie production. And that's the same concept. So from those people who have watched the movie, they have said, wow, we had a great time watching. It was such an interesting story. It was so funny. We had a lot of laughs, but we also really loved the dawah element. We loved how Samir, the main character, his love for Islam, and how it kind of came through. It just kind of shined through in every moment. And so this is the impact that we're missing. That not only that viewers, I've had non-Muslims watch this movie now. So I've talked to some of the non-Muslims that I know, and I've said, hey, I would love for you guys to watch this. And they've come on and they've bought the movie and they've watched it. with their families, and they've all come back and they said it was a great movie. It was so amazing. We had such a nice time watching it. And so I was like, wow, here we are. We're actually showing a non-Muslim audience Islam in practice, and they're enjoying it. They don't feel like it's an attempt to convert them as you would think from some of like the YouTube videos and so forth, because it's something subtle, right? You're just seeing a Muslim in a good light. Now, the last thing I want to talk about, and I apologize because of my sound setup that I can't share it with you, but it's this video right here, which is why you should support FamCinema. So it's this little animation, and so it kind of addresses some of the major concepts, because I've talked to people about it, and people are like, well, brother, why are you charging $8 for this movie? And I'm like, well, brother, when you go to when a person, I'm not going to say when you, I'm going to say when a person goes to a movie theater, they're paying $15, right? Or $12 for one single ticket. Okay. So if they wanted to go with their wife, or they wanted to take their kids, to see, a cartoon, okay, you're paying $12 a ticket, $10 a ticket minimum. Okay, for every person. So you're paying $30, then you're gonna get popcorn and drinks and this type of stuff. You're paying $50, and you're paying for something that at the end of the day is actually poisoning you. You're paying to watch people commit haram, to talk bad about Islam, to put Muslims down, and you're paying for it. And you're paying into that industry. You're paying this industry money to keep on producing things that make you look bad, that hurt you. And I'm saying, so why don't you want to pay money to support projects that will benefit you, that will benefit Muslim people? Why don't you want to support projects that would show Islam in a positive light for you and your family? And the thing that we don't want to understand is that we don't want to understand that these are expensive things. These things cost a lot of money to make. And so why don't we have that mentality that just like we would give $10 to the masjid, okay, so that they can keep the power on, okay, or so that they can pay the water bill, okay? What's the harm in paying $10 so that we can continue to produce things that will benefit us? To give you an idea, an animation, okay, so when you guys see like these animations that are on television or in the movies, like something like Toy Story, a Pixar movie, okay, for those that are familiar with it, this type of animation costs sometimes $10,000 per minute to make. $10,000 per minute. And that's just the animation component. There's no sound, there's no like the voiceovers, none of that's in it. And so alhamdulillah, I found ways that we can cut that cost significantly. So this movie, movie A Bucket of Blessings, is 5 minutes long, and alhamdulillah, I paid a fraction of that cost to be able to make it, by using Muslims in other countries. And so these types of jobs, they provide work to Muslims, okay, who otherwise they're going to be using their skills to do something else, to do, unfortunately, projects that probably aren't halal, okay? But instead, they're doing projects like this about the Quran. And in fact, like when I put this up on the website that I use for freelancing, I had a huge number of Muslims that jumped in, and they're like, I will do anything to work on this program. I will do anything to be a part of this because I want my skills to be used for something good like this. And so we need to be part of this. And sadly, as I said, we have thousands, if not, I would say tens of thousands of people across the world that have these skills, that have animation skills, acting skills, directing skills, editing skills, camera skills, audio skills, and they're all being used, unfortunately, in projects that are far from Islam. So when are we going to realize that we have to show up, and we have to play in this arena, and we have to represent ourselves, and we have to, inshallah, create an industry that will show Islam in the proper light and give an opportunity for all of these people to work for positive projects. And so that's kind of what I wanted to share with you guys today, and I wanted to leave it open to your questions.